I just found a really fascinating quote, and it's from Buddhist teaching. It says, I am, therefore you are. And we're going to unpack that. And I don't think it's going to be in the method in which you think. Now, if you're like me and you've read The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and if you haven't, you really should, you'd understand the basic principles of our thought is basically we colorize our world and our worldview based off of our own experiences and our own projections. Basically, things that, we can grasp through our own emotional dictionaries, if you will. Because it's only through our own experiences can we define everything else in our life. That how we define our world is based off of what we believe is to be true, what have we been taught. In a way, kind of like language. Like, for instance, this t-shirt, right? It's red in English, but in Japanese it's aka, and in Mandarin it's hong. All three of those are correct, but they're different verbal iterations over the same thing. Does it mean that any of them are incorrect? No. It just means that based off of how people are taught to define what this color is, that is how they translate it in their mental dictionary. Now, in the original quote of I am, therefore you are, it's basically putting that and distilling that into just a couple of words. Because I am who I am. I define you based off of my understanding, based off of my mental dictionary, based off of what I understand of the world at this point in time. I'll give you a great example of this in action. I was riding in the subway with a friend of mine, and in the same subway car, there were these two people that were yelling, and sounds relatively aggressive. Now, my friend who didn't understand the language they were saying was like, man, we should really back away. This sounds like it's going to get rough. And I looked at him really weird. I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, well, they look like they're about to get into a major fight. And I was looking at him like, not registering and understanding. And he said, because they're yelling at each other. They look like they're going to get into a tussle. And then it clicked into my head because I actually did understand the language they were speaking. And I explained to the guy, actually, they're just asking about how their day was. They happened to be speaking loudly because, A, we were in the subway and they were sitting across from each other rather than next to each other. And B, in some parts of Asia, especially when you're older, people talk really loudly. And it may sound aggressive, but they're actually just saying, hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a